Hi, I'm Kelly, and I'm a counsellor and a podcast host. And I'm someone who's spoken out before and I've paid the price for it. But when you do the right thing and you tell the truth and you speak out, sometimes that's at work or online or in your friendship group or even within your family, instead of support, what you get is silence and rejection. Sometimes you get outright punished. And that's what I want to talk about today. So the shame spiral sometimes. The shame spiral that happens after you speak up and how to interrupt it. Because shame has a way of making you feel like you were wrong even when you were right. And if you've ever faced bullying, narcissistic abuse or cancellation, you know just how confusing and lonely that shame can feel. Understand that shame is a social weapon. It's not just a feeling, it's a tool that people use to keep others in line. And when you challenge a system, call out bad behaviour or break a group norm, that shame response kicks in, not because you've done something bad, but just because someone wants you to feel like you have, especially if narcissists are involved. Because narcissistic systems punish dissent without needing to explain themselves. Instead of debating your point, they'll make you feel small or unstable or unkind, and that's how they maintain control. It's through shame, not accountability. And one of the things you can do is interrupt it. Name what's happening. Say to yourself, I'm feeling shame because I broke a rule that they made, not because I did something wrong. And when you label shame as a control mechanism, it loses some of its power. Shame often follows integrity. So that's the paradox of it. It's speaking the truth often makes you feel worse before it makes you feel better, because integrity comes with a cost, especially in environments that reward silence. So many of my clients say that they just wanted to help or they thought they were doing the right thing, and they were, but afterwards they were ghosted, isolated, called difficult, or accused of being too intense or too emotional. And that's shame being weaponized. But if you write down the truth, what you are trying to protect and who you are trying to help, anchor your actions and your values, because you weren't being dramatic, you were being principled, and that's worth remembering. Writing it down can help you to. Your inner critic can get louder after exposure, because there's a voice that shows up when you're the most vulnerable, and it's the inner critic, and it sounds like you should have kept quiet. You always ruin things. No wonder they turned on you. But this voice is old, and it's built on from years of emotional conditioning, sometimes narcissistic parenting, schooling, toxic workplaces. And after you speak out, when the fallout happens, that critic comes rushing in to tell you it was your fault. But you need to speak back, literally, out loud if you can. That's not my voice. That's the voice of people who benefited from my silence. And you might feel a bit silly at first, but that's part of the reprogramming. That script shame, but that's part of the reprogramming of the script. That shame wrote in your head. Shame seeks isolation, and connection is the antidote. Shame thrives in silence. That's why narcissistic systems ghost people instead of arguing with them. It keeps you isolated and confused, and it makes you question your memory. It makes you question your judgment and even your morality. But shame dies in the daylight. The minute you say to someone, I feel like I'm going mad, and they say, you're not, I saw it as well, that spiral breaks. So interrupt it. Reach out, even if it's just to one person. Choose someone safe or journal it first if you're not ready. You can also bring it to a counsellor who understands narcissistic abuse and social exclusion. You don't have to keep it to yourself, and you don't have to carry it on your own. You don't have to be perfect to be right. This one's personal because so many strong women are told that unless they speak up perfectly, like calmly, sweetly, without anger or emotion, they just don't deserve to be listened to. But actually, even when you are like that, they'll still find some way of twisting it. So, but you're allowed to be upset, you're allowed to be human, and you're allowed to be right, even if your voice shakes when you speak or your delivery wasn't flawless. And that shame, that one that says you messed it up, that's trauma. That's gaslighting. So you can interrupt it by reminding yourself, because you don't have to be perfect to be valid. You spoke up, and that alone was an act of courage. If you're in the middle of a shame spiral after speaking up, especially if narcissist buddies or so-called friends have disappeared in the fallout, I want you to know that I can see that. I can see you. I work with women just like you, women who've told the truth and paid the price, women who are done pretending everything's fine. If you want support from someone who won't just nod and smile, I'm here. You can find out more about me counselling at kellyoliverdougal.co.uk. And if this video helped, please like, share, leave a comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Let's break shame open and tell the truth together.